What's up, Solar Warriors? Today is Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. My name is Jarrett McAllister, the virtual Solar Pro, and this is Tuesday Training. If you're watching it on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop a comment on these, and then share it with your fellow solarpreneurs. I am joined by a couple of my fearless solar warriors and power hitters with power. Mr. Jonathan Bernasso in Vegas, Mr. Tom Cotter in Kansas City. Gentlemen, how are y'all doing?
Good morning. Happy for Tuesday. I just drove back from the airport and found out that on Tuesdays they play Taylor Swift songs back to back on the radio. You get two Taylor Swift songs at the same time. Everybody loves Taylor Swift here in Kansas City, by the way. Everybody. Not one person that does not like Taylor Swift here.
Swifter.
Yeah, the Kansas Swifty Chiefs.
What's up, Jarrett? Good morning, Grand Rising, everybody. Shout out to all the lovely camera faces we see right now. A little special shout out to Bobness, Owen Carey, Cynthia, Bill, Jeff, Tracy. Excited to be here, guys. A lot of good announcements and training today.
Absolutely, man. Super excited for today's training. We're going to bring it back to the basics. But before we do, I would like to highlight this sweet swag that I got in the mail yesterday. As some of you guys can see, it says all in warrior, because that's what I am. I'm an all in warrior. I'm about it, all in with power, have been since day one, son. And now power recognizes those who are all in. And you're going to get some bonuses for being exclusive with power in the markets that power is available. If you haven't already, and you guys need to get in the habit of this, check out your weekly newsletter. This one from Jonathan Budd, always writing something positive, letting us know what's going on with the company. But this one specifically talks about the all-in program. A couple key highlights. You're going to get custom swag, stock options on annual basis based on your performance, which who knows what that's going to end up being worth one day when we IPO. You get featured highlight profile at power events. Some exclusive lead programs are coming to power. We're going to be talking about that here coming up here soon. Path to leadership, getting up on stage for Solar Saturdays, which we're going to bring up here in just a minute. And then another one that's pretty cool, I know a lot of people have asked about this, is a power email. So when you go all in, you're going to get your name at powur.com. So just some of the key highlights for being all in. Check your weekly newsletter for that and get more information. Then you could click this little link right here and apply to become all in. So go ahead and check that out. Yep. All right. With that being said, we are going to kick off some success stories like we do every single week with the team. We love hearing them. So if you're new to the team, and you've had some success, raise your hand. If you crushed some sales last week, raise your hand. We want to hear from you. We're just going to knock out 2 or 3 before we kick this thing off. So who do we got? Who's crushing sales? Don't be shy. Already, I'm going to call on my boy, Mitch Hamilton, if he's here on the call. One of the newest all-stars here with Power. This guy's a freaking stud. Reached out to me on LinkedIn, came out the gates on fire. Mitch, you here?
Yep. How's it going, guys?
What's up, brother? Hey, man. Yeah, dude. Welcome to the team. I talked about you the other week, but you were traveling to your little honeypot area that you and the team are crushing. I don't even know if I want to say it out loud, but
yeah, no, for sure. It's been great being with Power so far. I worked for a few big sales orgs before, and then I did the classic kind of ignorant move of like red line hunting. And we kind of based our sales model with our little sales team on finding untapped markets that weren't really weren't hit. So right now we're going after Yuma, which is the sunniest city in the world, and it's in Arizona. But what we found pretty quickly was partnering with these EPCs in these smaller regions. We didn't have a lot of leverage. We got screwed over a bunch, and it got really chaotic. And so when you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. And having an organization like Powur behind you, I've had a night and day. It's been night and day compared to how the communication was, the respect that we would get with these EPCs. It's been amazing. The communication, the project management, it's been flawless so far. So I'm super stoked to be a part of this, and I'm excited where this is going to go.
Awesome, man. And since joining the platform just a couple weeks ago, how many deals have you knocked out in the books, you and the team?
I think we got 10 or 11 so far between me and my brother. We're gonna bring a couple more guys on as this keeps going. But yeah, it's been great.
Love it, bro. Great job, man. And you'll be a tier 3 in no time. You've already hit the requirements. I think now it's just the time requirements to be a tier 3. So you just keep rocking it out, Mitch. Welcome to the team, man. Crushing it.
Appreciate it, Jarrett.
You got it. You got it. All right. Has anybody else written 10 deals over the past couple of weeks? We'd love to hear from you. Just joking. But
Let's
any other success stories, or Jonathan?
Jeff, do you have any wins in the Home Depot, or anyone from the Home Depots have some wins, some appointments set? Go for it, Jeff.
I had an appointment scheduled for this morning. Unfortunately, that guy was a no-show. He had gotten to the point of getting installed by Sunrun. When the guy got there, I guess they had some kind of a conflict, and he sent him home. He didn't want to do whatever the guy was wanting to do something to affect the house. But he just seemed like, I guess, like a pushy person. So I thought that he would be a good candidate for us. I'm going to reach back out to him. I do have another one to schedule for this evening at 6:30. Both of them are originated, from the Home Depot here in the south suburbs of Chicago. It's been an interesting experience, never having done any kind of, Home Depot kind of retail stuff before. But it's been a learning curve, and we see our team, getting stronger, and asking the right kinds of questions, attending the 12 o'clock, well, our time, sessions on Fridays. It's been very helpful with the training that we're getting there. And then I met a realtor lady who sounded really interested as well in learning more about Powur, and perhaps the ambassador, perhaps something more than that. Turns out that as a realtor myself, we knew several people in common. So it ended up being a very productive session, and she reached back out to me yesterday.
Awesome, Jeff. How long in the Home Depot now? A week or two, or?
No, I think we might be one of the original ones. I think we're almost like 3.5 weeks, maybe 4.
Okay. Sounds like a lot of momentum,
Yeah.
staying in action. Yeah, well done. Keep it up.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, Illinois is a hot area right now. They are actually ending their net metering program, just like California did last year. So they're going through what California went through last year. There are teams out there that I've spoken to who are doing hundreds of deals a month, 400 or 500 deals a month. So if you have some lead gen companies, online marketing, you want to do a blitz, Illinois is the place right now. So just putting that out there. All right, we'll do John.
A quick shout out to John Bobness is on the call today, and he sometimes joins our Illinois marketing growth meetings. He's very knowledgeable about the Illinois market as well, and has been very helpful not only to me but multiple people, in Illinois. So thank you, John.
Yeah,
Check is
absolutely.
in-
I don't
check
think there's
is
a
in the
meeting
mail,
that
Jeff.
John hasn't been to, but what's up,
Stop
John?
it, Jared. Come on, man. Be nice. Be extra sweet to me. Hey, brother. How you doing?
Good,
Thanks,
man.
Jeff. Appreciate the kind words. Yeah, like the checks in the mail. I promise you. I appreciate you doing that for me. Yeah, I have a cool appointment today, Home Depot related. Guy had gotten 2 quotes from other companies and was kind of giving up on solar just because he hated the vibe of the people that were coming out. So I think us being the power warriors we are, that we come from transparency and integrity, really makes a difference. The other cool part of that, because I have to leave here and head to that appointment, it's actually an in-home, which is not always what I'm doing, but I figured why not. And one of the managers, the kind of middle manager guys at Home Depot, has heard me talking over the last couple times that I've been there. And he finally goes, all right, let me ask you. He goes, I signed up with Sunrun. He goes, and it's just, he goes, I don't know. Because it's been a long time. They didn't offer me batteries. They haven't done anything on the house. What can you do? And I said, well, if you're in a contract with somebody, I'm not looking to take food off of somebody else's table. And he goes, you're the only solar guy who didn't just jump like out of, just excited to do that. And I go, look, I want the business because I think we're better. I go, but I don't want the business to take away from someone else. I go, but if they're not servicing you, I'm glad to give you a quote and we'll see. So I have an appointment with him next week. And that's exciting to me because maybe we can save them from not getting an undersized system without a battery that they don't want anyway from a shitty company. So, and by the way, Jared Foster, I see you're wearing my hat. You can send it to me. I'll send you my address. And love you guys. Thanks for having me on the call. Appreciate you all.
Love it, John. Thank you for sharing that, man. And Mr. Jared Foster, what's up, stud? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, doing great. Can't wait to get my shirt in the mail. I'm excited. So, and that's what I wanted to share today. For anybody that's new on this call, Powur is the place to be. And it gives us that time freedom. And I put up a video on it, but I wanted to share something. Because I have the ability with Powur to be able to help clients anywhere to go solar, and I can do it from my laptop from anywhere. I had an opportunity that I'm part of a volunteer dive team that goes out and finds loved ones when they've drowned. Okay. And so just recently we were able to go out and be in the Livingston area. We were able to be out there and we found a mother and brought closure to the family. And then we were out in Livingston, which if somebody are following me on social media, we were able to create enough pressure and we were part of the community. We were there to support. And as of yesterday, the young man's body was found, right? And so at the same time, because of how Powur has created their platform, I'm able to do that, support and bring peace to families. And at the same time, I've got an install going in. I'm brought on another gentleman. We were in a meeting yesterday. We're going to close another deal this week, right? So I just wanted to share that story that if you guys are, just getting in here and you're just starting to get a feel for Powur, and, I had a solar past life. This is the place to be. I appreciate all the partnership and the people and the freedom and the time freedom and the financial freedom to be able to go and volunteer and help out people. So I just wanted to share that here and share the strength of Powur.
Brother, that is a win of all wins, man. And I really appreciate you, everything that you do. We love this platform and what it does for us and the freedom and the ability of what it gives us to do to be able to live our lives, right? Because, that's what life's all about doing is living. And you can't just be a slave to your job, and Powur gives us that freedom. So thank you, man. We appreciate you, bro. And such a powerful story. All right, you guys. Hey, thanks everybody for sharing your stories. It's really impactful. People get a ton out of it, and it's inspiring. So with that being said, Tom, my man, you got some words of wisdom. You got some things you want to share with us before we kick off this training, highlight some training, some things coming up.
Yeah, I'll just be quick here. Peter Drucker, the management consultant, said the best way to predict the future is to create it. Best way to predict the future is to create it. So thanks everybody for showing up today. That's how you create the future, is to show up. Trainings is one thing and your business is the next thing. So thanks everybody for that. Jonathan, do you want to run the slides and bring up anything here, or Jared, or I can, either way. While you're doing that, Solar Saturday is coming up the first Saturday of June. And make sure that you read your Powur Weekly that was sent out yesterday. There's lots of great information in that. You're going to be hearing from not only Jonathan Budd, our Powur CEO, but Melissa Dawson, Jordan Shaw, Zach Bach, Larry McKinney, Charles Thompson, myself. Others will be involved in that as well. A lot of us are putting together new trainings for you to go through. There's going to be some big announcements too. This is like another mini Powur World convention on a Saturday. Goes 9 a.m. Pacific to 12 p.m.
Maybe a contest, Tom? I don't know.
Maybe a contest. I don't know.
We'll see.
I was sitting in Charles Thompson. I have a video of me recording Jonathan Bernasso winning the first Tesla that Powur gave away. That's a cool video. And Jonathan was super humble about it too. He wasn't self-deserving. but he definitely deserved that Tesla for all of the lack of sleep that he had. I think maybe he got his Aura ring after summer conference.
That's
Which
that
Tesla
was-
are we talking about? The first one he won or the second one?
I was just talking about the first one.
Oh,
But also, to move on, the hotel was announced for Power World Ascend Convention in Orlando, Florida, September 19th through 21st. So the link is there on the slide. Get your Power World ticket, get your room reserved. Those rooms, if you saw any of the chat going back and forth around groups yesterday, the rooms are going fast, right? So this is the number one thing that you can do to build your power business, is to be at Ascend in Orlando, Florida this coming September.
Get those hotel tickets, y'all. They're discounted in the chat.
There you go.
perfect.
That's all for me, Jarrett.
All right, all right, all right. Well, then let's kick off the training, you guys, because it is going to be, we are really trying to get back to the basics on some of these trainings. And I was taught a long time ago, if you don't understand the commission structure, if you don't understand what your commissions are and how they work, how can you even sell? How can you do it properly? How can you be a master of your craft? It's really important that you understand your 70-30 split, or if you're a mentor on a deal, is there an ambassador on the program? Do I have enough margin or buffer for an adder coming up? And so Jonathan Bernasso, who's made more commission probably than anybody on this call and more than a lot of people in this company, is going to talk about these commissions and breaking it down so you guys can better understand how we get paid. So
That's right.
Jonathan, take it away, bro.
Thanks, Jarrett. Appreciate it. Great success stories, by the way. And Tom, I think this is the photo where I was 20, 30 pounds heavier, where I won the first Tesla in the summer of 2020.
There you go.
You're somewhere. There's Rick Joseph in the back.
There's Rick. Yep, I'm sitting next to Rick.
Yeah, guys. So for those of you new people, they have a summer sales contest at Powur, and it's usually like 2 months, 2.5 months long. Sales, personal sales, recruiting, mentoring, and there's amazing prizes. Expect a new set of, awards this year. If you achieve 5, 10 sales in just 2 months, you're going to get something. It's no longer like just the top 20. Just stay tuned. It's exciting what they're going to be doing for this contest so that everybody can play. And it's all going to lead up to September Power World. So super exciting stuff. Okie dokie. So today, everyone, for the purpose of the training, the next 30 minutes, we're going to be talking about the compensation plan. Like Jarrett said, it's extremely important to be aware of the different income streams to unlock the freedom, time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, inner freedom that Powur can offer. And so many of us have achieved and continue to achieve. Also, to be able to speak competently to the compensation plan, the different income streams that are available, right? If you're recruiting someone, if they're an ambassador, you want to become a seller, and how they can unlock the different income and some of the nuances of how to get paid. Obviously, I've been doing this 9 years. I've got paid at Solar City, Sunrun, other nationwide companies, and obviously Powur now. And I'll tell you, doing over 470 projects myself, I've never not got paid. Ever. Like, there's so many other companies are not paying people right now, or adder people to death. Like, it's just part of the biz. So I'm happy that we're going to be covering this, getting back to basics. And we have a lot of good trainings coming up the next few weeks for you as well. So the first thing I want to cover, if you go to knowledge base and you type compensation plan, this is the page that shows up. And there is a PDF right here to support it. In case you didn't know, our team has a Google Drive. If I were you, I would save this link and bookmark it. It's just a hodgepodge of great resources and videos and install pictures and ground mounts and metal roofs and anything you could imagine that I've put in here the last 4 years. It's kind of messy. You can happily steal and post and do anything you want with anything that's in here. One of the things that are in here is called Powur corporate agreements. So this is just a collection of all the corporate agreements that Powur has, like the compensation plan, like the revenue share training. And so if you're ever recruiting someone that's like, oh, I need to see the contract or the ICA, independent contractors agreement, you just send them this Google Drive, the Powur corporate agreements. So that's a few of the things we're going to talk about today. All right, so as we go into compensation plan, as we know, there's 5 different income streams here at Powur. And in just a few minutes, Tom's going to talk about the M1, M2 milestones and the minimum margin and things like that. But just a broad overview brush on this. Obviously, one of the income streams is personal sales, and Powur operates on a cost of goods model. 70% of the margin is the commission. There is ways to get a little bit more with enterprise if you're doing 15, 30, 40, 60 deals in a rolling 30-day period. Please trust me that, you know, it's not for 99% of people. If anything, talking to Jonathan Budd, our core business model, guys, is what got us here. Focusing in on the individual seller is what got us here. If anything, enterprise is a little bit of a distraction right now, like getting back to basics. So 70-30 split. Powur keeps 30% and gives half of the 30% to revenue share 6 levels that I'll touch on right here in just a second. As far as personal sales go, those do get paid out daily. When Powur receives the funding within a few business days after, they pay out to your digital e-wallet that you can set up and pay out a 1099, you know, Social Security or EIN or company or anything you want with our e-wallet. Partnered sales, we all know the tier 3 mentor split, whether you're working with a tier 3 or whether you want to become or already are a tier 3, it's an even, clean 50-50 split. With enterprise there and seller pro, there is something called lead offer where you can offer a percentage of the commission. And we'll touch on that as well. And guys, as you have questions, type them in the chat. We've got a lot of amazing professionals here with hundreds of deals and multiple 7-figure earners here. So please type questions in the chat. We'll get to them at the end. It's important to know that if there's an ambassador on the project, you subtract that from the commission, then you 50-50 the commission, or then you get the rest of the commission. And we'll look at an example here in just a second. Now, revenue share is the 6 levels of team overrides. So let me go ahead and pull up the compensation plan PDF, and we'll get into it a little bit more.
Can you also
So
talk more about enterprise, please, when you have a moment?
that'll be a separate training, Dave. And if you don't mind, just type those into the chat for now. And I'd actually love to do an enterprise training for you. And I believe there are some in Powur Calendar that I would highly recommend, and some recordings as well. So for the 70-30 split, it's cost of goods. And you will get to see in the proposal, the cost of goods, and then you set the margin. So in this example here, it's 18,500 cost of goods. The seller sold it for 35 grand. There is $7,000 of adder, could be a battery, electrical panel upgrade. And that means the net revenue's 9,500. 70% of that's the commission, $6,650 commission in this example. Now the team revenue share is half of 30%, so $1,425. And then Powur operates on a razor thin 15%, which is just $1,400 that they operate on. And Tom is going to get into in a few minutes here, when the minimum margin is below 5 grand, what happens? Or when the margin's above 5 grand, what happens? And it's a little bit of a nuanced rule, but it helps us get more aggressive. I'll just let you know about that. All right, so team revenue share. You do not have to build a team, but you can build a team if you choose to. In order to benefit off of team revenue share overrides, you have to remain active. Now, that rule used to be an installation within the last 6 months, and you get team revenue share. Currently, the rule is now if you have a contract signed within 6 months, that is now the rule. So there's going to be a little overlap. Okay. If you had an install 3 months ago, you got 3 months left of being active, and you got 3 months left to sign a contract to stay active for 6 more months. If you have questions on that, type in the chat, but that is now the new rule to stay active and benefit from team override revenue share to stay active. Just because you're paying $85 does not mean you automatically get revenue share. You have to have a contract now every 6 months. All right. So when you recruit someone direct to you, you send them the join link. That means that when they have an installation, they get paid their M2 the following week on Friday, because revenue share pays out every Friday. You will get on average around $550 from that job, or 6% on average. And then if you've brought in personally 5 people direct to your level 1, then you get to benefit from people that are 2 levels below you. You brought in Sally, Sally brought in Mark. You've recruited 5 people direct to you that are active. So this is a personal qualifying active count. They need to be active. Otherwise, you may only have 4 if someone doesn't have a contract in the last 6 months. And so then you're earning 3% of the margin, or on average around $300, $200. And it goes on from there. If you're able to recruit 10 people active direct to you, you can unlock level 3, unlock level 4, and 5 and 6, 30 people and 40 people. Personally, right now, guys, I'm at 37 active level 1. So I have 5 levels of revenue share coming in. At Powur's peak, there were a few people that were earning between 20 to 43 grand every single week. Today, there's people that are still earning 3, 4, 7, 8, 9 grand every single week. A little bit slower industry-wise, couple headwinds going on out there, but you just recruit one person that has an install, you're getting $500-600. It's powerful, guys. Realtors, solar pros. Imagine finding a Jarrett and recruiting a Jarrett under you. And so this is very powerful. A few little rules to call out. Like it says, you must have 1 personal contract or 3 tier 3 contracts every 6 months. So if you don't do personal sales, which you're missing out, you only do tier 3 mentor sales, you need 3 within a 6-month period to also stay active. If someone cancels Powur and they're not paying the $85 membership, after 6 months, it will compress. It will move up, slide up. The percentage of revenue share will go up to you where it should belong instead of them being down an extra level. So if someone cancels, it will compress. Also, one more thing to call out here. If someone assigns a tier 3 mentor, half of the revenue share is going to go up from the tier 3 mentor, half is going to go up from the seller that entered the lead. And this is very fair, because if you recruit someone that brings in a mentor and they spend all their time closing deals for other people, you may not get anything. But with this new rule that was a few years ago, half the revenue share floats up from the tier 3 mentor that's tagged, if there is one, and half floats up from the seller. All right, so that's the revenue share, and we can do Q&A towards the end, guys. Next, let's talk about stock options and equity bonuses. These are given at certain performance milestones. Powur should be going IPO in 2 to 3 years after this whole consolidation and slower time for our industry. When you have your first install, you'll be given 25 stock options. This is an option to purchase for just a few dollars that you will be given. And then if you bring someone in and they have an install, you will get 12 stock options. If you're able to achieve 25 personal installs or 50 personal installs in a year time, in the first year or 2, 2 years from joining, you will get 250 options or 750 options. So that, you know, that brother and him selling those 10 deals, I feel like they're going to crush 25 easily in the first year, maybe even 50, and get a ton of stock options. Okay, lastly, I do want to bring up the finance rebate. That is going to be the fifth income stream that we haven't touched on. The finance rebate may or may not stay for the rest of the year. I'm not sure. There's a lot of regulation, a lot of government oversight, a lot of things going on, guys. So I would just be delicate when referring to a loan or finance rebate. Even though our dealer fees are better than the competition, even though we give a better price, it is a little delicate. So finance rebate currently pays 1.5% of the loan amount in the form of a rebate the month after the M2 was paid. And I can't recall the date, Tom or Jared. It's like the 10th or the 15th of the month. I forget.
It's the 10th. Yeah.
10th rebate 10th, bro. And then when the 10th falls on a Friday, it's like boom, boom.
Boom, boom. Yeah. I think I had a finance rebate last on 10th, 11 days ago for like $600. So again, if you sell a loan product, not TPO, lease, PPA, but a loan product, not cash, loan product, 1.5% will be given to you on the 10th of the month following M2. It's a current benefit, but it just a little heads up, it may or may not stay. And I'm gladly okay with Powur keeping a few extra bucks from us to make this platform even better. Honestly, we didn't need that pay. We already get the best pay. We already charge the best, lowest prices. We already get the best equipment. Like, keep that. And let's make this rocket ship even better, is my opinion. All right. So that's the compensation plan PDF. And then the revenue share training. If you want additional details here in revenue share, we already talked about most of this. 70-30, half of the 30 is given to revenue share. There's 6 different levels here. So you can read up on that a little bit more. Now let's go ahead and check out the qualified, unqualified, or active, however you want to refer to it. A lot of times people don't see these toggles where you can go from active, who's sold a contract in the last 6, or inactive. So when you click team on the left-hand menu side, you could do level 1, all levels. Active means they've had an install in the last 6, or moving forward, they have a contract signed within the last 6. And that's how you can tell this person only has 4 active. So if they have a level 2 guy that had a big ol' install, you know, is this Dwayne person in this example here gonna get the level 2 revenue share? No, because he's only at 4 active level 1 in this screenshot. So something to be aware of. A lot of people don't know if they have level 1 open, level 2 open, or if their guys are even active. Always good to go in and check if you're doing team building. Finance revenue shares broken down as well. If you'd like to read up on that, there's the PDF. And if you'd like to watch Jonathan Budd announce the finance rebate, it's right there. Stock options, I requested that they make a nice knowledge base for stock options so you can understand these a little bit more. Some of the basics, how they work, what Powur's value is worth. If you have questions, you can email Beth. There is a 12-minute training on stock options as well. This is in the chat. And Powur is now using Fidelity to track. It's going to get better on tracking and visibility. So please bear with them as they take the old stock options, the new stock options, Fidelity, and then better tracking. Beth and team and Mike Lindmark, the CFO, is on it. So you can learn more about the stock options here as well. All right. So lastly, I'm going to do an example and then we're going to kick it over to Tom here. So just as an example, everyone, here's a 16 kilowatt system in Utah with N-phase inverters and REC 420 panels. Best of the best.
Jonathan's a pro. He's putting solar panels and there's not even a roof on that house.
Exactly. Yeah. They're going to float in the air on this one. So let's go ahead and go to,
Make sure you have your floating adder selected.
I
Floatable
do.
payx.
I have the metal roof floating adder, standing seam metal roof adder for you guys right there. So, you know, Powur really shows us the cost of goods. Okay. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of insight here. I think it's too transparent. I want Powur to have a buffer. I want them to have a 5-cent buffer. I want them to give us the scope of work, you know, commission contract within a week of designs done, 2 weeks of designs done, and now it's locked. Do late stage adders happen at every company? Yes. That is like literally one of the only disgruntled matters with Powur right now is some of the late stage adders. That's it. Like everything else is going really well. So I want them to be a little less visible. I want a buffer and a window of promise. So we're going to probably see something like that roll out by the end of the year, where there's going to be a little bit more of a buffer in place, and these prices are going to continue to get dialed. And when they deliver you a scope of work in your commission, you can trust, you know, 95% certainty that that's what it's going to be, unless there's a change order. And like Jarrett said, knowing all of this stuff and preventing late stage adders and buffers, more than half the time, guys, it falls on us. It falls on us to prevent that and to be aware of that and work with the best tier 3 mentors. All right.
One thing though, Jonathan, sorry,
Yeah.
I got to just interject, because the way you said it, people might be going like, what you want, you know, that's not cost of goods and Powur's going to keep more and 5 cents. You guys, that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is to buffer it into the initial price up front, because there are little things that come up. We're still a true cost of goods sold model. So at the end of the day, whatever the net profit on that project is going to be what the net profit is. And you're going to make 70% of the net profit. And I will also let you guys know, more often than not, yes, sometimes there are late stage change
It
adders.
goes up.
Sometimes our cost goes down from the time I sold the project. All of a sudden, Bud does what is his famous, and then Hanwha's down 8 cents a kilowatt, or 8 cents a watt on pricing. Guess who just benefited from that, right? It costs us less to buy to purchase the modules. That goes into the margin, and now my commission's higher than what it is. So I just wanted to clarify that for some of you.
Yeah, true. You always need to buffer it, but I do think a day will come where there's a little bit more consolidation on a few of these, and it's just confusing for a lot of people. So it's only going to get better. Now, this is the example before we move to M1, M2, and margin and payout. So we have a very common project here. The margin I currently have at $10,000. Guys, I'm selling this deal at $264 a watt. No other company can get close to this. This is ridiculous. It's a big system, so I could charge more. But like the other company was at $285, $290 a watt. Like I'm crushing the price and still making 70% of margin. So how much is the commission here? $7,000 roughly. And I have all my adders added in and some extra room just in case with the best equipment. So that's a $7,000 commission that gets paid out. Now remember, Powur keeps 30%. So let's call it $3,000. Now, 20% of what they keep, the $3,000, goes up in the form of revenue share. So 20% of $3,000 is $600 level 1. 10% is level 2, $300. And then 150, 150, 150, 150. So not only can we crush every single competitor with the best equipment, the most ridiculous pricing, make a $7,000 commission selling this thing on Zoom, but then your leader's going to get $600. And then above them, they could get $300. And then 150, 150, 150, not from your commission. This is a cost of goods model, not a red line model that's buffered not to help you. This is from Powur's 30%, and only half of that is in the form of a revenue share. And that just makes us all help each other and collaborate more. So I'm going to pause there and then hand it over to Tom here. I know we have some slides to go over. So Tom, I will let you take it away.
Thank you, sir. Good stuff. Yeah, just a thought that as some people are going through that, if all they have ever known is a red line model, one of the default thoughts that people have is, oh, I don't want to get 70% commission with Powur. You're getting 100% of your commission. You're getting 70% of the project margin. So that's a much better model than making 100% of 50% or 50%. It's a much better scenario than the red line model.
Yep.
But I want to talk about a couple things. So this, you can set your own margin. That's one of the things that I love about our platform. And so this slide here is if the margin that you set, the price per watt that you set, if that is $5,000 or higher. So how the margin split works, just to reiterate what Jonathan said, is 70% to the seller, 30% to Powur. And the calculation for that is the sales commission equals the net revenue, or the total margin, minus 30% of the margin. So let's go to the next slide here. We're looking at Solar Einstein now. Let's go to let's go to the normal margin here. So just some examples.
One sec, Tom, I'll bring it right up.
Okay, so $5,000 margin, that's kind of the lowest margin that I ever try to go, unless I'm really trying to win a deal here. But on a $5,000 margin, the seller commission, or the seller margin, is $3,500. Powur margin is $750, half of Powur's 30%. And the team support margin is the other $750, the other half of Powur's 30%. So what we're going to look at next, don't go there yet, but next would be what happens if it's under $5,000, because Powur has a minimum profit that they're going to make on each profit or project of $750. But a $10,000 margin is the last example on this slide. So that's $7,000 commission. Powur makes $1,750, and the team margin is also $1,750, split up among that team that Jonathan showed a snapshot of earlier. For a person that you referred, if it's a $10,000 margin, you refer that person, they sell a project, you're going to get, about $600 is your revenue share out of that $1,750. The rest of that $1,750 gets split up among the support team. But
hey, real quick, I got to cut in here really quick. Is that correct? I don't think those numbers are correct. Wouldn't it be Powur's margin 15? Isn't it 1,500 and 1,500? Do the math.
Did I
Yes,
copy?
thank you. 3,000. There you go.
Oh,
See, this is why you got to know your numbers, you guys, right? You got to know this, master your commissions, know it right off the top.
That's the challenge of having an executive assistant that just added a 1 in front of the 750. Okay, go to the next one.
All right, so we're 5,000 margin or higher. Now we're moving to jobs where there's 5,000 margin or less.
Yeah, so it's a different calculation. So if the project margin is under 5,000, then instead of the 70-30 split, all of those projects are calculated as the example below, due to the minimum Powur margin of $750. So the calculation here, and all this is also in knowledge base. We're just kind of highlighting a lot of the information that's in there, but the calculation is the sales commission, your sales commission equals the net revenue minus $750 minimum Powur margin minus whatever the 15% team margin is. Okay. So let's go to the next slide and look at a couple examples, because that's where it really starts to make sense. So less than a 5K margin. So let's say $4,000. So $2,650 would be the commission. $750 again is the minimum that Powur makes on anything. So it's just set for that every time the margin is less than $5,000. And then the team margin would be $600, which again is 15% of that $4,000 total margin.
Exactly.
So as you start going down in your margin, the further you go below 5,000, that 750 Powur margin is always there. Your seller margin goes down, your team margin goes down as well. So if you're getting team margin and you see that it's lower than $750, either that was with a tier 3 that was outside of it was one of your sellers, but they used a tier 3 that was outside of your organization, or they sold it for a below $5,000 margin, which means that your team margin pool of money that goes around is going to be less as well. So on a $2,500 margin, you can see that example there where your commission is $1,375. Okay.
Yeah. Just to add in again, when the margin's under $5,000, Powur takes $750, you subtract 15% from total margin, whatever's left is the commission.
Yeah.
That's it. And it lets us get more aggressive.
Yeah, so there's a lot of salespeople out there that if they go below a certain price, they're giving away that project. We can go down a lot lower on projects than many other salespeople can. Right. Absolutely. So let's talk about the M1 Advance, which is a newer thing with Powur. The M1 Advance is optional, so you can receive M1 commission after site survey, which is an advance of up to $2,000. On all finance projects and $1,000 on all cash projects. So this is available for a 15% fee that is applied to the amount of the advance and deducted at your M2 milestone. So there are no M1 advances that are paid unless you opt into this program. So this is an optional thing. So you can do this. I'm going to show you how to do this in a minute, but I don't think M1 Advance is available for any project in Puerto Rico, but definitely not available right now for any financed project in Puerto Rico. So if you go to the next slide, I'll show you how to set this as your platform default. So if you go into your profile, go to General Settings, and under the User Preference Center, you can find your default to M1 Payments toggle there, which will let you select that you want to opt into this M1 payment on every one of the projects that you sell, okay? So that will set this to the default for your Powur account. And then on the next slide, you can actually opt in or out of that M1 Advanced on a per project basis. So you can set this as your default if you want to make sure that you don't forget to do that. Or you can just opt in project by project. There's a toggle button next to the M1. You can just go to the next slide here and I'll just show you where it is in your project. So just make sure you toggle that on to the right. And then for that project, you're opting in to receive an M1 advance on that project. If you don't do this, then you just get paid, everything at M2. But if you are starting out and it would help you financially to be able to receive, part of your commission on the front end after the site survey, then you can always, opt into this program. And this is a really cool thing because, the industry as a whole has moved away from M1 commission payments. And this is a way to help people who, really are starting out and need to start making some money sooner rather than later after the installation. On the next slide, so on partnered projects, the seller and the tier 3 partners on the project each have the option to opt into this separately. So it doesn't matter what the other person does, you can opt in individually. You can look through that there. I just wanted to mention that. And on the next slide, how long do I have to be able to opt into this? Okay. So the M1 Advance option is available for you to select up until the project review stage, which happens shortly after the site survey has been completed. I highly recommend when you sell the project, upload anything that you want to the assets, put in your project handoff notes, do it right then, so that if you want to opt into this program, you don't forget to do it and miss out on it later, because after the project review stage, you can't, it's not going to be available anymore for you to do. Okay. And
When does it pay, Tom? on average, how often or when does it pay?
After the project review, it's within a week or two. Yep. I would guess. I've never had an M1 advance recently.
I would
But
say within a
last
week
year,
or two of,
M1 is usually a week or two, right?
within a week or two of site survey or designs done, you're definitely getting money to your bank account pretty
Yeah.
quick. And it is capped at $2,000 or 40% of the commission, I believe.
So this is just what to do if you haven't received your M1 commission. So make sure you opted in. Site survey has to be complete, NTP approval to receive for project financing. For cash projects, the invoice payment needs to be received. And if you're in Florida or one of the states that requires a homeowner liability policy, then that documentation needs to be uploaded to assets before M1 payment is made. Okay. And just because I'm trying to go through this quicker rather than slower, the last page here is how you can learn more about this. So 2 different pages in knowledge base. So we looked at the compensation plan for sellers already, but there's also a detailed page in knowledge base about the M1 and the M2 payment. So if you would like to learn more about that, there's plenty of info in knowledge base. Compensation plan is a big topic. I will say that, as Jonathan was talking earlier about revenue share, different levels, the strategy that Jonathan and Jarrett and I received when we started working with Powur was if we wanted to refer people to the platform, just to keep going wide, in order to open yourself up for revenue share down to 6 levels, you want to have at least 40 active sellers or enterprise on the platform. So just keep referring people, and some people will fall off, and that's fine. Just keep growing that until you are 40 wide. Also, strict as you grow a team, think about, if you recruit somebody that's in a certain part of the country, that you're not in, at a certain point, you may want to place them with somebody who is in your sales organization that can help support them locally, right? So just think about, you may not want to hoard all of the people that you recruit to yourself. You can, but for some people, it may help them to be the most successful if you pair them with someone, else who is on your team. Okay, something to think about. We got 5 minutes left, Jarrett.
Very good. Very
How's
good.
that?
No, it was great, man. You guys got it in under time. Great stuff. And hopefully, it's a great refresher for everyone. I actually wasn't aware about the whole under 5,000. I thought, and this is me not knowing the comp plan, I thought it was just a guarantee, like a minimum 1,500 that Powur needs to take no matter what. So like if it was a $4,000 commission, 1,500 is going to come off the top. That leaves you 2,500, and that's what it would be. But it's interesting. It's 750, then 15% of the remaining profit, and then you get the latter. My suggestion is, you guys though, don't sell a deal for under $5,000 worth of profit margin. This is a construction project that you are managing for sometime 2, 3, 4, 5 months. Okay. Know your worth.
Also, you're providing customer service to these people.
100. That's what I'm saying. You are managing this project, right? You're seeing it to the end. You are in full communication. You are the liaison. It's just not worth it. It's absolutely not worth it. Do not sell a project for that low. And I will also tell you this. If you go against freaking the wisdom of Jarrett McAllister and you go, I need to get this deal. I'm going to sell it with 4K margin. It will be the biggest headache project you ever had in your entire life. I guarantee you, they will be such a pain in the ass, and everything that can go wrong with that project will go wrong. I'm just going to let you guys know. So don't do it.
I'm going to gently be in the middle on this topic. I do tons of deals and I'm in competitive landscapes. And so I'm glad I can sit back, make $3,000 in 30-minute Zoom and win a deal. But do what Jarrett says because he's right 90% of the time, but I'll be in the middle as well, just to give another voice.
Just
on that.
remember, for that commission, I just had somebody call me that wanted to talk about their system, and I sold them a system 17 years ago. So
Yeah, 17 years ago,
17
right?
years.
And you're still on the hook. It's a
All right.
lifetime commitment if you're a good solar pro. So,
Hey.
anyways, you guys do what you want to do, but
If there's any detailed questions, y'all, like this can get a little bit dicey. If there's any detailed questions, type in the chat, raise your hand. We're hanging out here for 5-10 more minutes probably. But the compensation plan is quite nuanced. So if you have a question, now is the time.
yeah. And the recording of this training will be uploaded to the YouTube channel. Just drop that link in the chat. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. About to hit 600 subscribers, which I'm pretty stoked on. All organic, all solar pros.
Something
Oh,
nice. too, to
Dave, you have a
call out.
question.
Dave wants to know how to get his HIS license. He's going to need to go to the CSLB website and apply for that.
Before you're done with this sentence, I'll do it slowly. Tom will drop that link in the chat. Here it comes. But yeah, if you just Google search, anybody just Google search California HIS license, bam, it's right there. Oh, Jonathan
Can't-
beat you to it. Holy
Can't chat. Tom needs to
I
have
was
a
answering enough.
Zoom. Tom needs to have a chat GBT AI Tom answering questions in the chat for us.
Yeah.
Come on,
Hey,
Tom.
remember also with the HIS license that there's a background check mandatory and that takes some time. So you can't just apply and get it right away.
Well,
There's a
how'd you get
delay.
How'd
yours?
you get
then?
yours
How'd you
through,
get yours,
Bill?
Bill? That's
Well,
weird.
tricky. Wasn't
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah,
No, really.
we're gonna end the recording before he answers that one. But
Please turn off the recording. It is a bit of a delay. So those of you that have deals right away, you really want to be going after your license quickly, sooner rather than later.
Yes.
yeah,
do it
yeah.
now.
Dave asked if he should do it after tier. No, do it now, because if
Do it
you wait
now.
till you get your tier 2, then it could take a few months, and now you still can't sell. It's like, just do it now, get it done, and hopefully by the time you get it back, you're already tier 2, tier 3, rocking. Make it happen. All right, you guys, look, it is 11 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this week's training and the recording, but we will stick around for live Q&A. Office hours will start now, but I appreciate everybody coming on, and we will see you next week. Go to your market development meetings.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Got it.
Great.
Thank you,
great-
guys.
Great call as usual.
Next week, just so you know, we'll be talking about Florida or Power World event, how to build into it, and probably have Bobby Smith on as well. So it'll be a powerful training. Look forward to ambassador lead gen training. Look forward to objection handling with Danny Pesci and project management with a few leaders as well. So lots more trainings coming on Tuesday. And don't forget June 8th, Power Day virtual Saturday.
Sweet. Peace.
Did we end the recording? Peace.
No.